In 2012 film Rise of the Guardians, there's a scene that is probably my favorite in any animated movie. And that is where Jamie, the little boy Jack Frost is sent to protect, is afraid of the villain, the boogeyman, Pitch Black. And Jamie looks at Jack as Pitch and his nightmares are closing in on them, and he says, "Jack, help me, I'm afraid." And Jack looks him in the eye and says, "Don't be. Instead, we're going to have a little fun." And then Jack proceeds to defeat the villain through pure fun and games. And I cannot think of a better description of Leo energy than that. So this is Leo season, and it runs from about July 20th to about August 19th. And I just want to say, Leos represent. I am a Leo sun, and Leos, I have a family of Leos. My daughter is a Leo sun, Leo Mercury, Leo Venus. My mom is a Leo moon, Virgo cusp. My dad was a Leo sun. So yeah, we're just a family full of lions. So, Leo rules the 5th house in astrology, which is the house of pleasure, fun, romance, and, of all things, children. It's also the house of leadership, and I don't follow the Christian faith anymore, but there is a line from the Bible that says, "A child shall lead them," and I always think of the Leo sign when I think of that Bible verse, because that is what Leo energy is about. It is about leading people through inspiration. I listened to an astrologer, and she said that Leos lead through emitting a bright light, and people flock to that light, like moths to the flame. And this is how the Leo leads them, because they help them believe in themselves enough to become great as well. And this is how Leos lead. I love Leo's leadership style, and a lot of people say Leos are very bossy and self-centered, and they 100% can be, and we'll get to that. I have been a low vibration Leo as well, trust me. But we will get to that as well. But Leos have that style of leadership. I call it like the pre-K teacher energy. It's very much the energy you would lead a class of like 3-year-olds with, because you always have to set your pace to the slowest moving person to be a leader people will truly look up to, and who will follow out of admiration and not out of fear. And that is what Leo embodies. So, speaking of leading through fun, I think of 2 characters. I think of Pinkie Pie from My Little Pony Friendship is Magic, who, if you don't know, is psychic as hell, which is canonical in the show. And it's in the 2nd episode. Pinkie Pie sings a song when the rest of the main 6 are very scared, going through a spooky forest, and she sings a song about how you should laugh at your fears, and it will make them seem lighter. And it's a very good song. I like to play it for my daughter when she was small and she was afraid of the dark. But one of the lines says, "Snortle at the spooky," and I love that line because it makes me think of X-Files a lot. But it's very much showing how she's leading through fun. I was thinking about the teachers, the elementary teachers I had in the past, and they would try to teach me things through fun and games, and I would remember them, instead of trying to teach me something strictly or sternly. And that is the Pinkie Pie energy. Another character I think about is Jubilee from X-Men, Jubilation Lee. And I headcanon Jubilee as a Leo sun, Pisces moon, Aquarius rising, which is my big 3, by the way. I think about that line a lot when I think about Jubilation Lee, about how a child shall lead them, because I don't know how you were introduced to the character of Jubilee, but I was introduced like many kids by the 1992 X-Men cartoon on Fox. And she was like this kid, and she was always getting into trouble, and the X-Men always had to save her, and she was just like this like kind of welfare case that was always tagging on to them. And later on in the show, and especially in the comics, Jubilee becomes a leader. And she does that through leading through this very fun, playful, creative, and compassionate place. I love the comic Generation X. It's my favorite comic ever from the 90s. But the Generation X reboot, where Jubilee becomes a teacher and assumes that role she was always meant to fulfill, it's my favorite Marvel comic. It's very wonderful. So we'll talk more about Jubilee in a little bit, but I want to talk, and then Jubilee's powers, just how they're fireworks, and they're beautiful, and they're fun and playful, but they're also fierce, and they're meant to protect people and teach them. Like, that is very much a Leo. Like, that's a Leo woman. Another Leo I love is Stella Gibson from The Fall. I headcanon her as a Capricorn Sun, Leo Moon, which is another great combination. Stella is what I call a high vibration Leo. Like, she is very fabulous, and she's very beautiful, like all Leos, and she has great hair, like all Leos do. And she is very intimidating, and she's very confident, and she's very fierce, you know, like the lioness, but she's also a teddy bear inside, and she's very protective and loyal and nurturing. And I love that contrast with Stella. And the show, The Fall, you know, of which she is the star character, played by Gillian Anderson, the show goes out of its way to show that side of Stella. Like, they could have showed her as this very badass femme fatale, which she is, but she's also the one person that Olivia wants a hug from after her mom tried to kill her by drowning her in the ocean. She is the person the old lady reaches out to and thinks it's her long-lost daughter come to see her on her deathbed. And, you know, Stella is that person who will sit by that old lady's bedside while she dies, and she'll be that person who will grieve for every victim of Spectre as if it were her own sister, like how she gets so just in her feelings about Rose, and how tender she is with Rose's daughter. Like, that is a Leo moon. They call it the Santa Claus moon, and it is my favorite Zodiac placement. My mom is a Leo moon, and there are no more generous sign, I think, than a Leo. I always associate Sagittarius with Santa Claus because Sagittarian is around that time of the year when Santa Claus is, like, in popular culture. But Leo is truly Santa Claus. Like, Leo is so generous. Leo wants you to be as happy and as fulfilled as they are. And they're like Elvis Presley. He would just, like, go up to someone and give them a Cadillac. And that's how Leos are, especially Leo moons and Leo Venuses. My daughter is a Leo Venus, and she plays Roblox, as you might know. And she got a Robux gift card for her birthday, and she wanted to buy herself something nice on the game, but she wasn't able to because she had already given it away to all of her mates. And I'm like, that's a Leo Venus. Like, that's a Leo moon. They will always think of the other person, because when they feel happy, when you feel happy, they feel happy, because a Leo thrives in their light that's reflected off of other people, because they shine that light. Leo rules the heart, and the heart shines forth out of them. They are ruled by the sun, and that is the greatest star in our solar system. It's the brightest star. A lot of people, you know, stereotype Leos as very self-centered and very selfish, and for the longest time I was ashamed of admitting my sun sign. I was like, well, I'm a Pisces moon, or I'm an Aquarius rising, and I was ashamed to say I was a Leo sun, because they're always stereotyped as these very self-centered and selfish people, which I always thought of as bad. But when I started studying astrology, I learned that Leos lead through shining their light, and people go to it, and they're inspired to do better and to be better. And yes, I have been a low vibration Leo, where I just am narcissistic and I want to be the center of attention, and that's very bad. And so I thought now we could talk a little bit about a high vibration Leo like Stella and a low vibration Leo like Hannibal Lecter. So I think it's quasi-canonical that Hannibal is a Leo sun, and he is the most unevolved Leo sun I have ever seen. And I love that, because if you told Hannibal he was an unevolved anything, that would probably hurt him the worst. But he's very much an unevolved Leo. And unevolved Leos are a sign you don't want to be around. And that's the same as unevolved any sign. But with Leos, it's like with Cancer. Their low vibration and their high vibration are in such contrast because they're such a cuddly and loving sign. Like, I think aside from Cancer, Leo's like the most cuddly sign. Roshan Sylvia is an astrologer I listen to, and she's amazing. And she says the Leo is like a little kitty cat, playful, sweet, until you cross them. Until they get that thorn in their paw, and then they become that roaring beast. And Hannibal is very much that unevolved Leo, how he always has to be the center of attention, to the point that him always getting his way is what ultimately got him caught in Florence. He had to have everything he wanted. He wouldn't let Bedelia have anything she wanted from the market, and that is what got him caught. That is what tipped off Berger's people to him, which I loved. And that's such a Leo thing. Like, it's your own hedonistic wants. It's your own hubris. It's your own ego that is ultimately your undoing. And that's what Hannibal's was. So don't be a low vibration Leo, okay? Another low vibration Leo that I think becomes a high vibration Leo is the Red Queen from Descendants, The Rise of Red. And of course, she's introduced as like the Red Queen from Alice in Wonderland, this very psychopathic, narcissistic person. And when we see her in the past, we see Bridget, her teenage self, and how Bridget was a high vibration Leo. She was a very generous person who was winning people over and getting friends through sheerly her generosity and goodwill. And I love that. I love how it shows a low vibration Leo in the future and then her high vibration self in the past when she's younger. That's a really cool inversion of tropes. Leos are famous for being generous and kind and very, very, very funny. And I'm going to talk about another Leo I love, and that's Rarity from My Little Pony. She is such a Leo moon woman. I love the way Rarity will literally kick your ass and then cry about chipping her hoof or like getting her hair messed up. That is such a Leo thing, by the way, because of course Rarity's a Leo. Look at her hair. Leos all have amazing hair. And yeah, I'm a Leo. My daughter's a Leo. We have incredible hair. I'm not to boast. It's just how we are. But I always think of the scene in the second episode of My Little Pony where they meet the water monster, and he's crying because his mustache was cut off, and the other ponies are like, well, he's a big crybaby. And Rarity's like, no, I understand your problem. I understand where you're coming from because, you know, an astrologer said that Leos have a pride and admiration and respect in themselves, and that gives them the power to recognize it in other people. They always see the best in people. They always see where people are coming from. They always are understanding about why a person would do something because they're so generous of spirit. That's why they make such good therapists. And of course, Rarity sacrifices her beautiful tail for the monster so he can have a mustache. And that is such a Leo moon thing. Like, I think other people would just be like, oh, you know, don't be a crybaby. Like, woman up monster. But Rarity was very much like, no, I get it. Like, understand why you're feeling this way. And I think Leos very much have that. They have that particular compassion in their hearts. I think only after Pisces. I'm thinking of Dale Cooper on Twin Peaks. He's a Leo rising, and how, you know, he was always that person who was reaching out to the most struggling people. Like, I think about the episode Rest in Pain, which is the funeral of Laura Palmer. And Leland Palmer, her father, is trying to dance like he always did with her. And he's just trying to get someone to dance with him. And it's just such a sad scene. He's grieving so hard. He's just out of his mind with sadness. And, you know, Dale goes to him with Hawk. And he's like, hey, man, look, let's take you home, Leland. Like, he's so gentle. And, like, I think about Donna, how she was grieving her best friend. And Dale wasn't a hard ass with her like he was with Bobby and Mike. He was just like, I get it. You've lost your best friend. I recognize this pain in you because I felt it in myself. Like, he was thinking about Caroline. And that's a Leo. Like, they're not just generous in material things. They're generous of heart. And that's why they're represented by the lion, and that's why they have great hair. I've never met a Leo with bad hair. They're just all incredible with their hair. Another thing I wrote down was, be the change you want to see in the world. Mahatma Gandhi, of course, famously said that. That very much represents Leo energy. Like, because with Leos, it's very much the love you take is equal to the love you make. Like, they're always going to put that karma in the world and get it back twofold. You know, that's what makes Leos amazing. And I want to talk about my daughter, and how through my decade of 4 cancer diagnoses, like, that was her childhood. And that was her growing up. Like, her first memories and weren't like going to the beach with mom, or riding the carousel with mom, or like going to the petting farm with mom. It was like seeing mom vomiting, or like seeing mom lose her hair, or like seeing mom cry because she thought she was going to die. And my daughter has that lion spirit where she's like going to turn that grief and that pain into humor. And I always said she was my cheerleader, my drill sergeant, and my comedian, my stand-up comedian through all of my cancer treatments. Like, and she's that person. She's like, I'm going to lead through humor. I'm going to inspire people to be great and be funny and be compassionate and kind, because they're going to recognize that in me. Like, that's the greatest stand-up comedians, are the people who punch up. Like, I'm thinking about George Carlin and Richard Pryor, and there's a new kid, Josh Johnson. I really like him. And Roy Woods Jr., and how they're always punching up. Like, they're always making jokes about their condition and showing it that that's the human condition. And that's the greatest comedians. And that's why Leos make incredible comedians. I don't know if any of those guys are comedians, are Leos, but it wouldn't surprise me if they were. This was Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart, by the way. Another thing I wrote about Leos is great hair. Jillian. Now, I don't really talk about actual people on this channel. I talk about fictional characters. But I do want to talk about Gillian Anderson and David Duchovny. And their birthday is only a few days apart in August. They're both Leos. And I don't think... Gillian has never played a character with bad hair. I mean, they're consistently amazing. Scully, of course, perfect hair. Bedelia from Hannibal. Jean on Sex Ed. And, of course, Stella. Just all incredible hair. And then I said Leos pose like African male lions. And I wrote David Duchovny, and he just really is. He's just lounging like a dominant male lion. Anytime you see this guy. That's a Leo thing. Leos are very much that leader who's going to push you. Because they want to see you succeed, because when they succeed, they want you to succeed. But they're also they're like a dad teaching you how to ride your bike. Like, when you fall down and skin your knee, they're going to pick you up and they're going to put you back on the bike and dust you off and be like, hey man, you got this. And I think about Captain Kragen from Law and Order SVU. Like, that's a Leo son, man. That is, Leo sons are the best dads. They're just always like, hey man, I see this in you. I got this. I also headcanon Gordon Cole from Twin Peaks as a Leo man because he's got that really cool, fun, supportive dad energy. Just really, really great cop dads. So let's talk about some pairings we love. Leo and Pisces, top. I'm a Leo sun, Pisces moon. I think it's the best combination of Leo because you have the confidence, the generosity, and the just fabulousness of the Leo sun out there, and then your emotional side is very watery, very dreamy, very esoteric. The Pisces, they balance out pretty well. Not to brag or anything, I have a lot of problems. I have been that low vibration Leo, and I have been that low vibration Pisces. Trust me, I have. And I'm hoping I'm more high vibration now. So Leo and Pisces, I put Captain Kragen, Leo sun, and Lenny Briscoe, Detective Lenny Briscoe, famously played by Jerry Orbach. I pair them. I ship them. I love them. I love my two cop dads. I love my two NYPD cop dads. Briscoe, I headcanon as a Pisces rising because he's just Briscoe. We love you, man. I love my candlestick dad. Will from Hannibal is a Pisces sun, and Beverly Katz, his pathologist bud, is Leo rising. Another gal with great hair, and again, just the Leo that never judged Will. She was always so generous with him and always coming to him from a compassionate level. We love you, Bev. I hope you're doing good with that transfer in Salt Lake City. So I also wrote Will in Hannibal because I know it's toxic as fuck, but it's also hot as fuck, and that's all I'm going to say about that. I love Leo and Virgo. I am a Leo sun, and I have Virgo in Mercury and Venus placements. And my mom's a Virgo moon cusp, so I get along with Virgos very well because there's a lot of Virgo in me. I wrote Dale Cooper, who's a Leo rising, and Annie Blackburn, his honey, who is a Virgo sun. And Jubilation Lee, and Monet St. Croix, who was her boo in the Generation X comics. And I wrote Rarity and Applejack from My Little Pony because those, Virgo is very down to earth, analytical, tell it like it is. Think about Applejack, always honest, always telling the truth, even if it hurts her, even if it hurts the people around her. And then Rarity being Rarity, just shining that light, being the center of attention, and they're constantly butting heads. And Jubilee and Monet are that way. Jubilee just being 110% all the time, always on, always 90 to nothing, and then Monet being this very on the surface level-headed Virgo. And Annie, kind of having a more low-key personality and a more service-oriented personality than Dale Cooper, who's just this sweet, shiny baby boy, lion cub, I also love Leo and Taurus. They make really good buds, especially Lady Leos and Lady Tauruses. Alana Bloom from Hannibal being a Leo sun lady, and being best buds with Bev Katz, who's a Taurus sun lady. And Leo and Sagittarius, and Dale Cooper and Fox Mulder. Come on. Leo rising, Sagittarius moon, match made in heaven. So, yeah. I hope y'all have had a good Leo season. It will be almost over when I post this video. But I hope you have had a great Leo season. And throughout the year, may the spirit of the lion always be with you. Thank you very much. We are Leo. Hear us roar. We'll see you next time.